Hi, Sai here from Music Radar. Today I'm checking out Warm Audio's brand new RingerBringer ring modulator pedal. Okay, so the e-guide amongst you might recognize this particular pedal. It's very much a clone of the original Moogerfooger ring modulator. Looks very similar, wooden sides, the kind of layout's pretty similar. It is slightly shorter, so maybe a little bit more sort of pedal board friendly. That's pretty cool. No guitar here today though. We're going to check out kind of things you can get away with when it comes to synths and a ring modulator, and some of the cool things you can do with, you know, the extra connections around the back. Some cool stuff here. So let's check out what RingerBringer is, what's involved, and then we'll have a little play with some synths and stuff. So RingerBringer comprises of kind of two main parts, or kind of three, two and a half, let's say two and a half. On the left side, we have the LFO section. On the right, the modulator section. But in the middle, we've got a drive knob here. To show you how RingerBringer works, I've just brought in Waldorf's Rocket synth. It's quite a basic analog synth, single voice, nice and simple. This is what it sounds like. Just quite a rolled off, cut off on a sawtooth tone there. Nothing special. We'll engage RingerBringer. I'm going to take out the wet signal altogether. So we're just going to hear the drive. So the drive is on the input stage and adds loads of character to it, as you can hear. A little level meter here on the LED will tell us how hot the signal is. Obviously, starts green, goes to amber, and then ends up at red, which is way better, as you can tell. I'm going to roll that back a bit. There we go. Okay, so bringing the wet signal back in, and we'll hear everything working there. I've got the LFO off completely. The frequency goes from, we've got two switches here basically. We've got a high and a low section. On the low, it goes from 0.6 hertz up to 80. So 0.6 cycles, and then we're going up to 80. And then on the high, it goes from 30 hertz all the way up to 4,000, quite a bit. So we can get fun sweeps. And of course, we can add in the LFO as well to create even more movement. So I can just bring that in all the way. And we have a rate from 0.1 up to 25. Now, you can actually sync this rate with external devices, such as a clock device like a drum machine here. We've got the Drum Brute Impact. I can then use the rate dial here to kind of set divisions within that clock. So that's quite cool how we can have that synced. And then around the back, we've got quite a bit of I/O here. We've got our inputs, our output, very simple, but we've also got plenty more. So with our CV inputs, we can control the amount of mix, the amount of LFO. We've got the carrier input and output sockets as well. And in fact, that's the one we're going to have a quick look at here. So I can use another source plugged into the carrier in, and it effectively replaces the kind of carrier oscillator within RingerBringer with whatever signal you're bringing in. So if I plug that in, I've got a beat here. Now, out of impact, it's got individual channels for the kick, the snare, the hi-hats, and the FM drum as well. So I'm actually using the FM drum here out of Impact into the carrier input for RingerBringer, and then as soon as I fire off on the keyboard Rocket, we'll get that, you know, that enveloping and the carrier working away. So dialing it in on the sequencer here, and we've got extra controls, haven't we? So we can, you know, whatever we're putting in, we've got some control over that signal. So with the FM drum part here, I've got mod, pitch, FM amount, I've got decay, carrier pitch and level. So we can hear this frequency dial here for the carrier completely defeated. We don't need this at all. So we're going to control everything from this side. So you can clock the rate of the LFO with an external source. I've come out of Drum Group Impact here at the clock output, and with that I can then use the kind of rate dial here to set the sort of divisions within the clock. So we can see on its own the LFO is rate is like as soon as I activate the clock out of the Drum Group Impact, we can see now we've got the sync here. So with an extra clock source in our rate input there, and we can have some fun with the LFO and some sort of polyrhythmic kind of movement with it, which is quite fun. And goes to show that, you know, you can explore a bit more with the I/O around the back. You know, play around with like different signals coming into different like you know, parts of the pedal, and it's just great fun to like explore these things, isn't it?